Okay, so if you didn't watch the last video, which is probably everybody, this is what I was looking for. So when I was, where that main road is there, if we zoom in on my shitty camera, I just walked around above those, above the pinnacles of those high rises over there, and then where there's that white patch of construction on the other side of this hill, there's a ski resort, and I was looking for these gazebos, and I've just been to that one, and there is another one up there, and actually there's more that you can't see from the road. There's another one up there, and it's 6:45. So I was looking for them because they look so cool from down there, because yesterday, this is like the new sort of restaurant district, sort of imitating, I guess, a European ski resort. And I don't know if you can see it from here. I don't think you can. Essentially, where there's that scrub, just that bush patch there, it's a really nice park, and from there you can see up in this valley, and it looks really, really cool. So I figured I'd get up early, as I have, and check it out. And while I'm here, this is not going to be related, actually, this video, to the general fauna and landscape. I'll just be uploading some sort of clips of this little trail which skirts the outer rim of the city. But I just wanted to update people on my phone because not that anyone's really interested, but I use YouTube, as I said, as my sort of Dropbox, almost like a diary entry. And I didn't conclude, and there's a really cool story. So I got my phone back, actually, and I'm pretty sure where I left off was when I explained that we followed this woman, and that my GPS was following her, and that the Uyghur police didn't really search her. I don't know if that's because she was a Uyghur woman, or if they just don't search women, but either way, imagine pulling someone over and then searching their bike because there's a GPS location on them, and then not searching their handbag or their pockets. Fucking crazy, right? And then the phone signal left, it died, it got switched off, so I assume it was her. I had stolen my phone. Anyway, because it got switched off, I was like, fuck, I don't really know what to do. I got back to the hotel and I initiated the Google Lock, which you can do remotely through Find Me, because my phone still had network connection. And so when it would get switched on, it would initiate all this stuff. And then a factory reset, which is irreversible, which is kind of annoying because I'm pretty competent and proficient with safeguarding, like, key kind of aspects of security and travel. The main one being your SIM cards, because when you're abroad, you obviously need your verification text to sign into your apps, like anywhere in the world, but it's more difficult if you're abroad because now UK policy has changed, so you can't have a UK SIM card posted to you abroad unless it's activated in the UK, because again, the UK is a totalitarian state. So I accidentally had all my SIM cards on that phone, and it was my intention when I initially did that to swap them between this one and that one for safeguard security reasons, and I never got around to it. So yeah, that was a big issue. And anyway, fast forwarding, it was about 4 a.m. the previous morning, and I was up all night, and I checked my Find Me, and the signal was back. The lock had initiated. The factory reset would have been initiated too, and would be pending upon them inputting a code should they bypass my lock with full connection. And this phone was already a couple of 100 kilometers outside of the city of Birkin, here in the Altai prefecture. So someone was driving fucking fast with it, ridiculously fast. And I just basically followed it throughout the night. I say throughout the night, I'll explain a little bit further. So I followed it for about a couple of hours, and it ended up on a desert highway in the middle of literally fucking nowhere. On the satellite, there are no trees. It's just hundreds of kilometers of desert in Uyghur territory. The Uyghurs are like 40% of the population in Xinjiang province, of which this Altai city and Altai prefecture is just a part in the far north, but is more sort of synonymous with skiing and Kazakh culture, because Kazakhs are a minority as well. So Kazakhs apparently are like 5% or something, and then it's 45 for Uyghur, and then Han Chinese, who have created everything that you see, is 50%. Anyway, they were driving through the desert, and I had no evidence, by the way, to suggest that the thief was a Uyghur, but I just fucking knew. I just knew, and it was again proven if you follow along with this story, because everything that's bad has ever happened to me in China, period, has always been from a Uyghur, which Uyghurs live here in Xinjiang. The only bad things that have ever happened to me are in Xinjiang. You know, getting robbed or getting your phone stolen, getting shortchanged, taxi drivers trying to scam me. All of them have been Uyghur. All of them, 100%. So I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be a Uyghur. So anyway, I'm following this GPS. It's driving through the desert so fast that I was like, right, we're going to go back to the police station, or to a police station, because there are two in this city. Sorry, not in this city, this is in Birkin. There are two. One is for like Han Chinese for more serious issues, apparently. So it's more like surveillance, and they have these big security places. The other one is like your generic sort of like someone stole your phone, but it's just operated by these fucking Uyghur police who are just absolute trash, like absolute fucking trash, useless cunts. Excuse my language. They're just absolute fucking trash bags. They're always drunk. They don't do their jobs. They have no brain cells whatsoever. Literally, like, the dimmest Han Chinese person has way more brain cells than the smartest Uyghur. And this is just a trend that you see universally with different ethnicities, different cultures, because it's biological, period. Inherited memory, genetic memory is a real thing. No matter how much you educate people and you give people just so much privilege unnecessarily, which I'm totally against, because it's against the notion of equity to just give people certain things over others, and it works both ways, giving poor people a leg up over other poor people based on their background, and likewise giving rich people more when they don't need it. It's the same sort of scenario. Anyway, so I go firstly to the big Han Chinese police station. There's a guy with a shotgun at the door. It's like 4:30, 5 a.m. and I explained to him the issue, and I was hoping he was going to like call someone and they're going to be like, let the foreigner in. But basically China's changing now so that you don't really have the foreigner privilege. That's sort of long gone now. China's open. This isn't, there's no iron curtain as the Western media portray, even though the Western media and the Eastern media is one and the same thing, but we won't go into that now. He called Uyghur police to pick me up at 4:30 a.m. and take me back to the same station I was at earlier the previous day, where nothing occurred, nothing happened. And these two guys show up. One absolutely stank of BO and was drunk, and the other one was so drunk he was asleep on the dashboard. And they drove drunk from the station to the other station, where at 4:30 a.m. the same useless coppers who were there the previous day that didn't solve my case at all and probably made it worse. I probably could have got my phone back myself if I just went to the location without them and looked at my GPS. They were all completely wasted, like so drunk. And they didn't do anything, obviously, because they were drunk. One guy who is like the boss had his, I don't know, I read online, and I have seen it from time to time in China, that people do it to when they're hot in the night, and it is very hot here. He had one like trouser leg rolled up, but also all police officers are Freemasons. The address of this place was number 33, of course, it always is. And that's also a Masonic ritual. And why would you all be in a station at fucking 5 a.m. on a Sunday getting wasted? It's all very weird. It's all fraternity, just like the military. They're always guys that are semi-homos getting up to all kinds of stuff. That's my theory. Anyway, he literally said in his phone verbatim, in China, if someone finds your phone, it's theirs to keep, and the person probably needs it more than you anyway. That's what he said. So I was like, fuck this guy. So I stormed out, went back to the hotel, told them everything that happened, realised I'm never going to get my phone back again, because that was the optimum moment. If they actually were competent, if they were Han Chinese, they would have solved the problem. I could have solved the problem if I was a police officer with a little bit of authority. It would have been a question of, they're on a desert road, it's 5 a.m, there are checkpoints in China going into the city of Urumqi where they were heading, and eventually the phone ended its GPS location, probably because it was put in a basement. And it would have been so easy at that time, because no cars would have been driving on that highway, to just, oh, look, they're going to be at this checkpoint in X amount of time. He's got a live GPS tracker, and we just stop the car. It's really that easy. And, I would have got my phone back. And it doesn't take much. But no one, within the Uyghur population at least, is competent enough to do that. So nothing happened. Went back to the hotel. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to get the phone back. I was pissed off. Went to sleep. Door starts knocking. It's... Sorry, this is the next day now. Yes, I would have got back at about 7 a.m, slept, woken up at I think 4 or 5 p.m. that day, had food, went back to bed. Next morning I was woken up, bang, 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 bang. Hotel said someone's on the phone. They have your phone, they're video chatting, and they had the screen of my phone. When you Google lock your phone, you have the option to put a message. Almost like if you find this, please give it back. Like you put on a cat's collar, same kind of thing, right? And I had typed in, if you find my phone, please call this number. And it's the hotel's number and the hotel name. And that was all I could actually squeeze in. So they had found my phone, and obviously they'd stolen my phone. Got to Urumqi, went to the phone market, not knowing what model this phone was, and also not knowing it was a foreigner's phone, remember that. Because there's still, even though actually, as I've explained, you don't get really as much privilege as for being a foreigner anymore in China, you still generally do get a little bit more. But the general belief is that you get an excessive amount more, and that it's like the worst thing to steal from a foreigner, which is a good thing for me. So they would have either taken the phone to the market, these are the two theories, and I can substantiate this in a second. And the guy would have been like, firstly, it's not a good phone, because the phone I paid £100 for max. They might have thought it was a brand new iPhone that was £700-800. It's only £100 phone new, so they would have only got 40 quid for it, which is nothing even in China. Second thing, the guy at the phone market would have said, yeah, and by the way, you didn't properly turn this phone off, so it's been tracked the entire time, and it would have been tracked all the way to your home and basically everywhere that you've been. And they obviously don't have this tracking system in China for their phones, as far as I'm aware, the same system. They don't have Google, at least. So maybe the person was unaware that people could do that, and that would have freaked them out. And when I got the phone back, just fast forwarding a second, the only thing that was missing was my physical SIM card. They had stolen the SIM card, or they had taken it out and forgot to put it back in. So that's the first theory. The second theory is they would have just gone to the phone market again, or looked at the model, realised it's not a phone that they sell in China, and yeah, I'd imagine they would have put two and two together. The message I put was in Chinese, not English, so unless it was really grammatically sort of fucked up, which is a possibility, they wouldn't have been able to ascertain that I was not Chinese. So I assume it was the phone market scenario. Look, we've come all this way, we're hardly going to get anything for it, and now there's this huge risk because the phone's being tracked. So they called the number, which they would have had access to way before, by the way, because when I locked it, it was before they ended up on the desert roads. They would have seen this message way before. Another theory I have, by the way, is you can alarm your phone remotely with internet connection. So you can set a really loud alarm. And I was trying to set it throughout the day successfully, including the previous day when we were trying to find it with the police. Find it. And the person kept turning it off. But I waited until they obviously had reached Urumqi on the GPS. And by this point, they would have been super tired because they would have been driving for several hours. And then I did the alarm in what would have been their home. And it lasted 1 minute and 47 seconds, which is quite a long time for a massive, really, really loud siren alarm. So maybe it was a youth and their parents found the phone. That's another theory I have. Anyway, so they said, yeah, I also put on the message, and you will be rewarded. So it was please return my phone, here's the number, here's the hotel name, and I will give you a reward, right? And according to the hotel receptionist, who Han Chinese, this person couldn't speak Chinese, so they had to get a friend of theirs who was Uyghur to translate with the person who, as I suspected, was Uyghur. And they didn't mention the reward, and they said they were just going to send it immediately by courier, and it would arrive the next day. And it arrived the next day. My courier cost was £2, that was it. And they didn't pay the £2 for the courier after stealing my phone. I paid the £2, 18 won, and everything was there. They even cleaned the phone, but no SIM card. And maybe there's something sketchy with that. Maybe I'm being sort of a little bit ignorant, and the SIM card was what they wanted all along, or they can get something from it. There's certainly been a few weird things that have happened on my phone since. So yeah, I think they might have the SIM card and might have used it. It's now been blocked. But sorry, that's the gist of the story. It's quite long, nice little view, and it's just a way so I can conclude the other two videos that I posted. Otherwise, it's sort of like an anticlimax. And actually, this is like the best outcome possible for that scenario. You know, my phone was stolen, driven several hundred kilometers through the desert to the city of Urumqi, the capital of Xinjiang, and then the person, for whatever reason, through one of the aforementioned theories, decided on returning the phone. So there we go. And I have all my numbers back because they were eSIMs, and thankfully there's a way you can get your eSIMs back. You can pack code your eSIM to another provider without being in the UK, and then it will activate immediately. That's the only way now to get a SIM card in another country when you're outside of your own, outside of the UK now, because it's become really, really complicated. They're basically closing all of the loopholes as we speak, quite literally. And actually with giffgaff, my provider, they've now been blocked by the government from sending SIM cards abroad to any country other than Australia, Japan and Spain. They're the only official 3 now in the world. So yeah, it's becoming more difficult, but you know, now with all this technology, when you lose your SIM card, you know, especially when you travel for as long as I do, it's not like the end of the world. You'll obviously be able to get it back. You can just get a friend to put it in their phone and then send it to you, and then you have to pick that up from a shipping address in a country, and it may never arrive, as I had in South America, and you'll be locked out of your Google accounts and stuff. But you know, it's not the end of the world, but it does really change things, especially, you know, when you rely on your Google Files, your Google Maps. You know, all of the things around traveling especially require you to be constantly active on certain applications and, you know, banking apps and stuff. And it's kind of a nightmare to lose. So it's worked out okay in the end. And I'll leave it there, and I'll head to that gazebo now, and then we'll be down by around 9 o'clock when it starts to get baking hot, and it'll be about 30 degrees, and we'll find some breakfast.